everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Fleet Success Show. I'm Marc Canton, your host, and I'm joined by my good friend, award-winning fleet manager, Dave Persad. And today, we're going to hear one of Dave's really cool and interesting stories about essentially an avoided catastrophe in his fleet and some of the challenges around that. Can't wait for you guys to hear this story. It's super cool. Let's get right into it.
This is a Fleet Success Show, dedicated to helping you and your fleet succeed using the experience of fleet professionals and Hall of Fame fleet legends. The show that explores how the pillars of stakeholder satisfaction, intentional culture, resource efficiency, and risk management all combine to lead your fleet to success. We're glad you're here. Now, let's get into the show.
Dave, how are you doing today?
I'm doing just fine. So yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you. For those who don't know me, I'm the vice president of product and consulting here at RTA. And Dave is the fleet manager down in Boynton Beach, Florida. I should say fleet manager extraordinaire, multi-time fleet of the year winner, and and you've also won a couple of direct awards, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right too?
No, we just had leading fleets.
Leading fleets, right? And you've placed 5 consecutive times on 100 best fleets when you were at West Palm. And now you got, if they gave you trophies instead of plaques for these things, you wouldn't have any more room in your office, right? In all, how many awards have you been associated with on the fleet programs?
7.
7. That is amazing, man. Okay.
All team effort.
I know. You're a very humble guy. And it's true. You've had some great team members, but, there's a reason you've been around for those. So, but today what I wanted to talk to you about, We've had a few episodes with some of our internal guys and some others about some of the crazy things they've seen in their career, and so I'm starting a little series around sort of just sort of like crazy or weird things, or maybe it's just a major challenge or an issue someone wouldn't think of, and just kind of share that experience, so that maybe people can learn from them or relate from them or corroborate, camaraderie, whatever the right words are there. And you have a really, really good one that, you shared with me recently. And so I just kind of wanted to get into it. I'm going to be quiet here for a second. I might pause you or interrupt you just to clarify or to make sure I get the detail. But you've had an interesting thing with fuel, relatively recently, I guess. So go ahead and tell us this story. Tell us what happened.
Absolutely. No, we had back in 2018, we had, over at the city of West Palm Beach, it started at first with the patrol cars coming in. They had engine oil coming up into the intake, and the air filter is wet with oil pressure. What the hell? So they're thinking that, hey, the tech didn't do the service on it. Just added oil. It was just in there for service and get it done. So we, it started one vehicle, and we went to 2 and 3, and the same symptoms, pressure in the oil just pushing right up into the intake. The hell, the same. So we started looking at our processes, okay, our techs, going through our work orders and looking, okay, well, what are you guys doing? What do you, and we did a lot of self-examining, thinking, of course, when everything goes wrong, the port and fleet.
Yeah, you blame yourself, and everyone else is blaming you.
Yeah. You guys, so we are on the defense here, trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Right. So then you say, well, what are our techs doing? And you look at your right? Yeah.
Yeah. Every week there's 3, 4, 5. Whoa, what's going on? We bring it in, service again, drop it up. Same thing happens again. So this went on so we are looking now late nights. Hey, what are we doing? I'm even looking at our waste oil quantity to ensure that it balances for what our new oil is, to make sure that we are, doing the oil changes and not doubting our guys, but just, wanting to.
You got to figure out what's going on. Yeah.
So when we took apart the first engine on the interceptors, and I'm looking at any TSBs and whatnot, talking to Ford directly and the dealers. Hey, do you have a recall? Nothing. So originally we talked was the PCV valve, that may have had an issue with the pressure and with the oil, because that was also wet. Talking with the first one we had over at Ford, they had it stripped down, and it was on top of the block On top of the pistons, top of the block was like tar, hard tar. I know you love to cook, but when you caramelize brown sugar,
Yeah.
and if it sticks too long in the part of the spoon, and you got to get it off, it was like that. You had to scrape it off. Huh? What the hell is going on here? So after engines are dropping left and right, so we're now having it to go at one dealer couldn't handle it. We had to spread it out to several dealerships. Hey, what is going on here? And we are to the point where we got to replace engines. Hey, it's shot. We got to replace it. Then one of the dealers went to, hey, man, yeah, have you guys seen anything like this? Well, no, yeah. But one of the guys said, well, you know what? He talked to this guy at this city. He had a vehicle in here with the same thing. We replaced the engine. He had a similar issue, exactly what you're saying. Really? Give me a name and number. So got it. Woke the phones. Yeah, sure. We had 3 vehicles. So, okay, same thing. Wow. They had to replace the engine. Well, okay. Yeah, it was a fuel issue because they got fuel from the county, which is down south, and at one of their fuel depots. And so then I called down to the county. Yes, they have an issue. Yep, contaminated fuel. They had one of the carriers that they used had biofuel and was contaminated with gas. The gasoline was contaminated with biofuel. So we had biofuel in the gasoline. And of course, the compression ratio from 25-1 to 8-1, it's you would have the fuel just sitting there and unable to compress. Hence, just the biodiesel, the palm oil, the sugar content in it will give you that crystallized tar looking effect on top. So it was shot. So boom. Well, that's one thing we were glad to find out. And the same carrier that they used, we used as well.
Okay.
So we had fuel testing from dropping from all the contaminated diesel and what that to try to get. Now it's legal involved, so we had to try to get a game plan involved. But by the time we were done, we had to replace the 110 engines.
Wow. 100. How big is the fleet?
That fleet was 1,100.
Wow.
So, but it grew. We thought it was only isolated to.
You replaced 10% of your fleet's engines. Oh my God.
Because no one goes to school for fleet management, chances are you were never formally trained on how to successfully lead a fleet. That's where the Fleet Success Playbook comes in. The Fleet Success Playbook is your guide to building a safe, reliable, and efficient fleet that provides exceptional service. Learn all about the 4 pillars of fleet success: stakeholder satisfaction, intentional culture, resource efficiency, and risk management. Get nearly 100 years of combined advice on common challenges, practical solutions, actionable tips, and real examples from fleet industry experts who have been there and done that. Visit www.fleetsuccessplaybook.com to request your free copy today.
That it grew from not only from interceptors. I think why it showed there first is because of the high island, the hard pursuits, and just the usage. That's why that showed up pretty quickly and first. But then it went on to F-150s, other non-pursuit SUVs and whatnot. So, we had to get legal involved, and long story short, that we had to have engines, have dealerships all throughout South Florida was dropping engines, and we were directly on sourcing. Ford was sourcing engines from all throughout the country to get this in for us. And
wow,
it was crazy times. A lot of sleepless nights, a lot of late nights, a lot of late. Yeah, it was chaotic.
Well, yeah, you need your police vehicles on the road, and here you are dropping engines in them. I mean, I have so many questions here. First off, well, what did you do about that? I mean, that's a lot of vehicles to be down at once. What did they do? Did they hot seat the vehicles? Did you go get what did you do? How did you get police out into the streets when they didn't have cars. I mean,
Right, right. Well, we had to use several things. We had to lease vehicles in, of course, non pursuit vehicles. So, but we had some spare vehicles, pursued that day.
they pulled in, right? Sure.
Yeah, program stuff that we were going to auction at the end of the life cycle.
Bring that
We had
back
to
in. Yep.
pause, hey, bring it back in, let's get it back road ready. So with those two factors, we were able to at least help out on the pursuit end of it. But the non-pursuit code compliance and parks and whatnot, we just rented vehicles until we got things resolved. But it was again a lot of sleepless nights. I got gray haired pretty quick during that period.
All right, I have more questions. So, I mean, so when you contact the county and they tell you, that, oh yeah, we had, the contaminated fuel. How did they figure it out? Like, how did they figure out that the fuel was the issue? Because they're on the same journey you're on, just maybe a few days ahead, right?
Yes, but they had issues as well too.
Right.
Yes, 10 times more than we did.
Oh, really?
Yes. We didn't hear anything about it, and no, it's only when if I don't know something, I love to ask questions. I want to get to the bottom of it, and this was so by asking questions and and working the phones, and by the time we Mario, myself, members of the legal team, we had a meeting down there at the county. They were having a lawsuit going. We also got a lawsuit, legal involved and whatnot. So then having had to keep my spreadsheet going, keeping track of engines, what went to what dealerships, what got repaired, because we paid for.
Yeah, you paid for that. You paid for the rent of vehicles, right? Absolutely. You lost money on the salvage value of the vehicles you didn't replace. I mean,
absolutely.
That's a 100%. Lot of money from a lot of moving parts going on there.
A lot of moving parts.
Right? You're paying overtime to guys and gals for staying late so that they can fix. You mentioned how late you were working.
Yep.
I mean,
a lot of moving parts. But we, rapid fire getting and the dealerships. And again, I go back to relationships. I do not underestimate the power of relationships. That will get you out of a bind, pretty quick. The relationships we had with the dealerships, they had guys come in on Saturdays and Sundays because they knew I was in their, calling them, I was in their face. I was dropping off donuts and pizza. Hey guys, we really appreciate everything you guys are doing. It was so, they thought I was working there. How frequently it was saying,
"Hey, Dave," it was like cheers, right?
Yeah, but with a desperate situations call for desperate measures, and having to be there front and center so they understand the urgency of what's at stake to bring this to an end. It was pretty chaotic.
Sure,
but we got through it.
Yeah, that's amazing. There. Wow. Now, and don't tell me this if you can or your uncle, but I'm assuming at some point there you guys were made whole by this, your supplier there, I hope, or you must have come to some sort of agreement. Were you able to iron things out with them? Did they accept blame? Did they accept this, or did it get ugly, or how did that pan out? Were you still, customers when it was all said and done? I'm just curious.
No. I think I can answer just a couple of things on that.
Okay. Answer what you're comfortable with.
It got a little bit complicated, and we immediately we ceased from using that company.
Sure.
Under the county, they was locked in a very, costly legal battle with them too.
Sure.
And as do the city of West Palm Beach.
So, and then there's that cost, which is almost unrecoverable, which is now you got to run another bid. You're getting procurement involved, got to set up new suppliers, new relationships, the whole 9 yards. Wow. And then you had to clean up. This fuel was in your fuel island, right? It was in your tanks.
Correct. Yes. We had to clean the time to clean out the fuel island, have standby a portable fuel tanker there to pump fuel in, having a guy there because it wasn't metered or anything there, so we had to really buy.
You were doing sticks.
Use sticks and a clipboard to really, hey, vehicle number, this is this pumped in. So It was a lot. I mean, it
Oh
was
my
chaos. There's a
gosh.
lot of moving parts. A lot of moving
I,
parts.
I just can't even imagine cleaning the tank. I mean, did you just replace the tank? Did they pump?
No,
What, they
no,
pumped
no.
it all out, went in there,
It
cleaned
was
it?
an underground tank. We had to get it pumped out, cleaned out, um, uh, flushed out a couple of times, and
Sure. But then all your vehicles too, in their tanks that they still had gas in from there.
absolutely, we had it was a massive. Anybody that fueled up, but we kind of backtracked and figured out the date from when that contaminated load was from, and we backtracked, and everyone we had to immediately a mass email went out. Hey, come by fleet. We got to drop the fuel. Flush the tank out, and fuel back up and go.
Oh my gosh, just the waste efforts, more cost on getting rid of all that stuff. And then you're cleaning those tanks for even the ones who maybe didn't break down. Then the fuel cost itself. I mean, massive, massive, the amount of moving parts and variable costs.
But after that, we took fuel samples off that truck prior to the delivery, dated it,
Sent it
in,
away.
in a non-flammable, secured
Sure.
cabinet, and we would do that, for every 30 days, because if there was a contamination, it would show up within that 30-day period, and rolling 30 days, so it would show up within that 30-day period. And
Well, I think you just told the industry about a new fuel management best practice right there, Dave.
yeah, no,
Test your fuel. Don't assume nothing. Right?
yes, because and it happened, and it affected 3 agencies. It could happen to anyone.
Right.
It could happen. The possibilities are there.
But also contaminations don't always, you can have something in there that's hurting your assets that maybe doesn't lead to something so extreme, right? But maybe it's much more slowly eating away at, right? You got metal contaminants. I've seen that many times before where it's not quite as, what's the word, dramatic or drastic as what you just experienced, but crappy fuel will destroy your vehicles. So,
For sure.
yeah, so it actually is a really good idea to test your fuel and know what's going in there, especially when you're buying it wholesale and you're doing bulk fuel. So yeah, that's an interesting. What a great story.
Yeah, I know a lot of. I don't know if a lot of agencies that do. We talk about testing, but oil sample testing.
Oil sample testing is super important. Yeah,
In the private sector, we did a lot of that.
Right.
We did a lot of that, and we were able to detect, prevent catastrophic failures from coolant leaks and fuel dilution and
sure.
so forth.
Not to mention, usually you can. What I find is most of the time you can prolong PMs, especially if you're using really good oil. Save a bunch of money there as well. So,
Correct.
Yeah. Wow, man, what a great story. I can't thank you enough. Thank you for taking some time and to sharing it. I think it's really neat. We definitely want to have you back on, Dave, and share more thoughts and more stories with you.
It's neat to talk about it now, but it wasn't neat then.
Right. When you're doing overtime for, how many straight days. And I hear you.
Yeah, I think we stayed a couple of times at the EOC, because of how it was. We have guys, guys were coming in. We had multiple shifts of guys coming in because we knew what was at stake. And,
there must have been quite a sense of relief, though, right? When you finally said, oh, it's the fuel. It's not me.
No,
it's not my guys.
No,
it's not.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because, again, everyone was pointing at us. Of course, we are the subject matter experts.
Right.
Everyone was pointing. And then we're doing a lot of self-reflection. Did something really go wrong? Did we not do something? What did we do? We went back through work orders, again, documentation, and this is having a good FIMS system will really get you have with the ease to go back and take a look at your work orders and backtrack and see and make sure that everything was dispensed at pump and the PM was indeed done, and
right. It's
nothing just
important.
spent for whip and go. Yeah, absolutely. So that helped us immensely, and
a great system, but also great practices around that system. Right, the system leads the horse to water, We can't make you drink it. You're right. Exactly. You got to have good data management practices. And yeah, if you do that, you put yourselves in a situation to be able to handle this and to be able to figure it out, which many folks, would still be trying to figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. Hearing that it was a fuel was a sign of relief.
Yeah. Even though it was like, and then it's like, I can only imagine, it's like, oh, it's not us.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes.
Oh crap. What do we know? I got to go get this tank. I got to go.
Now we took in that. Now the task is at hand. Yeah.
I can only imagine. What a cool story, man. Well, listen, thank you for taking some time to share your story. I really appreciate that. And we'll definitely have you on again, and we'll talk some more. I know I'm not going to get to see you at Connect because you're at FLAGFA, and I'm not, this year they had to overlap. As long story short, we didn't want that, but it's the way it played out. But I hope you enjoy FLAGFA next week. And to our customers, thank you for listening. And, and our listeners, if you have any other cool stories, drop them in the comments. Tell us about them. If there's anybody you want to hear or someone you want to see on the podcast as a guest, let us know. Any questions for us, any questions for Dave, shoot us an email at podcast@rtafleet.com, and we'll be sure to direct them the right way. In the meantime, thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Visit our website, www.rtafleet.com. And Dave, thanks so much for taking the time and for talking to me. It's always a pleasure being with you, man.
No, the pleasure's all mine. Thank you, sir.
All right, my friend. Have a great weekend.
You too, brother.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed the show. If you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others. Post about it on LinkedIn or leave a review. Want to learn more about our fleet management software, Fleet 360? Check us out at rtafleet.com. If you want to learn more about having your fleet evaluated by our consulting team, go to fleetconsulting.com.